Okay, guys, we're going to talk about Space Force. Now, I have not watched Space Force, but that's not really the point of this article. I laughed at when it says, why does Netflix cancel some of its best shows and renew dross like Space Force? First of all,
Dross?
I believe The Independent is from the UK or Ireland.
Yeah, they're from the UK because you can see
a lot of the
UK.
language is very...
Can I get a Google on dross, please?
I got you.
Okay, so it says Steve Carell's... I just get a huge kick out of this because a lot of times these people, I don't know if they just don't realize it, they answer their own questions when they're writing these articles. So it says, Steve Carell's Space Center sitcom is back for its second season despite a flat reception from critics. Well, there was your first problem, my friend. Nobody gives a crap what critics think. Even when we review stuff, I'm like, I'm not a critic, because if I was a critic and I was able to go see these things for free from the studio, you wouldn't be able to take my word on it that it was actually good. You would have to just assume that I want to continue to get access. Now, when they don't like something, you can usually assume that that's because it treats fans well or it's fun. Critics have this really strong aversion to fun, happiness, rainbows, anything that involves any type of smiling or positivity. Critics hate that. So I'm being a tad hyperbolic, but they're very stuck up and pretentious a lot of the time.
And
You think so?
Yes, I do.
Interesting.
And Dan, to answer your question, it's another word for rubbish.
There we go.
Yep. And also, apparently it was in the Bible. Thanks, Google.
Thank you, Google. So it says, we all have that one canceled TV series we're still bitter about. Maybe it's Freaks and Geeks, Deadwood, Firefly. You are correct. Article writer, you are correct. At least about this. The Critic, Twin Peaks, I don't remember, I've never seen The Critic, but the rest of them I've heard of. There'll always be a reason for its cancellation, low viewership, runaway production costs, terrible reviews. It might even be a reason you agree with. The sudden passing of a star, perhaps Bill Paxton's Training Day. Like Bill Paxton started in the TV version of Training Day in like 2017, and then he passed away when they were in the middle of like season 1 hiatus, like between Christmas break and the start of the new. That was sad because I actually liked that show. It was pretty dark. So it says, or too many dead horses. Luck. I don't know what that means.
Me neither. I was literally looking at that. What the hell is that?
But that rarely makes it easier to accept. Time was when Netflix seemed like an avenging angel when it came to TV's wrongful cancellations. Back in 2013, one of the streaming service's first high-profile original projects was a revival of Arrested Development, the cult sitcom whose 2006 cancellation by Fox was long regarded as one of the most egregious instances of TV executive wrongheadedness. Also, you could add Last Man Standing. Remember that got canceled by...
Oh my god, I love Last Man Standing, but it wasn't revived by Netflix.
But it was... I'm just saying it's an example of a show getting revived.
I mean...
also...
Lucifer
on Netflix. Also Longmire. Longmire went through 2 television networks before it ended up on Netflix.
I was a huge Arrested Development fan. And when the first time I bought Netflix was when like it got picked up again and went to Netflix.
Yeah.
Saw 20 minutes of the new episode. Never seen Arrested Development again.
Because I will say that Netflix did a fairly good job when they bought Longmire. The tone stayed the same and it did not become any different. But this was like in the early days of them buying stuff on Netflix.
It's so hard.
So,
can you explain what Longmire is? I don't know what that is.
Longmire is a television series starring an actor named Robert Taylor and Lou Diamond Phillips, based on the book series called The Walt Longmire Mysteries.
Okay.
And it's about a small town sheriff in a town called Absaroka, Wyoming. It's not a real town, but it's a fictional town in Wyoming. It's very, very good, and it takes place in the backdrop of an Indian reservation. And if you can imagine how horrible that would be done today, with how on the nose everything is with the way they write television, it was done with deft hands and very, very clever writing back then. So very, very good. But the point is that he answers his own question here. Nobody cares what critics think. If a show gets renewed, it has nothing to do with the critics. It has to do with whether people are actually watching it or not.
That's true. I was so upset about Black Mirror.
So it says...
what happened?
They just stopped it.
Well, you know why, though, right?
No.
Because
too real.
No, they said essentially like the director was like, we want to do like something like Black Mirror, but in a positive direction, because like we feel like we're opening the gates of hell essentially.
Well,
with everything.
I blame them hiring like Miley Cyrus for that last season.
It was great.
I hated that.
Okay, well, I like it.
I hated that so much because I hate Miley with my aching soul.
God, another person Miracle hates?
So it says, I just want to skip through this article a little bit. It says, during its early forays into the world of original programming, critical adoration may have been enough to sustain a struggling series on Netflix. But now, with a cupboard full of BAFTAs, Emmys, Golden Globes, and Oscars, Netflix's desperation for validation has pretty much dissipated. Validation from critics does not equal money, advertising, revenue in any way, shape, or form. Nobody today is going online and thinking like, well, I wonder what like everyone who's watching Yellowstone is watching Yellowstone in spite of what people say about it, of what critics say about it.
And there's an easy answer to the question that this article is presenting. So the question is like, why will they cancel some things and not Space Force? Well, it's simple. Space Force is an ensemble show.
Yes.
It has
Steve Carell,
John Malkovich.
Those two alone is enough to sell a lot. But also, there's another article I found here that was from it says, audiences are actually loving Space Force despite the terrible reviews.
It's pretty funny.
That is why it will get renewed.
It's pretty
because
funny.
People actually like it.
It's the combination of those two. It's like, it's actually kind of funny.
Yep.
And number two, you're Netflix, right? You got all the money in the world, like the whole world's locked down, everyone's watching, right? You just got like Steve Carell to like have his own show on your platform.
Yep.
Buddy, it doesn't matter if it's going good. We need him to be happy.
Yep.
So we can pitch him other stuff.
Yeah, that's as I said. It's like an actor like Carell is a commodity.
Right.
So say they have some other project where they can get him on, kind of like they did with all the actors they brought on.
Don Cheadle's on too.
Yeah, like
a bunch of people.
Those are names that draw eyeballs. Like,
Wait, is it Don Cheadle?
In that show, I have no idea. But Don Cheadle has done stuff for them.
I think so.
I'm thinking of Anthony Mackie did Altered Carbon.
On.
But this is they had a good paragraph here at the end. It says TV is an uneasy tussle between art and commerce at the best of times. For art to stand a chance of winning out, Netflix has to draw the line somewhere and accept that it's sometimes more important to be right than to be popular. It's a business. It is their job to be popular. They have to make money. They need people to subscribe. They need people to stay subscribed. To do that, it can't be about art alone. It has to be about what people actually want to watch.
What does being right mean?
I have no idea what they're talking about there. Like, it says, it's rare for companies to take the kind of tack. Patience doesn't necessarily equate to profit, but Netflix has always branded. They're talking about, have you ever seen the show The Wire? The Wire, which is a cult classic now and highly regarded as one of the greatest shows of all time.
I've only seen clips of it, but like it's legendary.
Had bad ratings when it was on air.
No way. Really?
One of the reasons being, first of all, it didn't have like an actual star. Like Idris Elba was like probably the biggest name on the show, but it wasn't advertised as like a single person show, right? But they talk about here, they says, in the paragraph it says, but it doesn't have to be this way. HBO's groundbreaking crime drama, The Wire, kept getting renewed for 5 seasons despite low ratings and a dearth of awards. Now it's regarded by many as the best TV series ever made. HBO showed similar leniency with David Simon's even less marketable follow-up, Treme, which I've never seen. I don't even know what that is, so that tells you everything.
It's a good thing I really recently just saw this, so I can comment on it, because like the comparisons to like, I don't think this is gonna be a cult classic like The Wire.
No, it will not.
Because it does some of the like the stupid tropes things, the
Yeah.
21st century trope things that we're like absolutely sick of. It's like,
Plus, The Wire is like groundbreaking, was legitimately ahead
Right.
of its time.
and this is like just like, it's funny, but like all the white guys are dumb. All the minorities are basic. They may as well be God.
Have you ever seen the hilarious meme? It says, this is the group of scientists that discovered the black hole in Switzerland, and it's a huge like courtyard full of people. And then they said, this is the Netflix version, and everyone in the
Right.
yeah.
Where are the little Tinkses?
Yeah,
though?
it's so. It's but what I'm saying here is that if audiences are liking it, that's why it's getting renewed. It's not that complicated.
It's fun. It's funny. It's Steve Carell. Steve Carell playing Steve Carell, guys.
And
What more do you want?
What's funny here is if you look at the Rotten Tomatoes, 79%
That's pretty good, right? Like,
audience, 79% critic score, 78% audience score. So the critic score is actually higher. This makes no sense.
Well, no, if you go to the other article.
that's
the
not
one-
bad, right? 79.
If you go to the BGR article, if you scroll down, they said the season 1, the critic score was like 36.
Okay, so this is an overall then.
Interesting.
So That one might be updated because
No,
they
but
do have a new season.
the critic score was 36, and the audience was always on the 70s.
Yeah.
So
again,
audiences
who
loved
cares?
it.
Who
Like,
cares what the
nobody gives a crap what pretentious film critics think. They do not.
Brett? When did it shift? When did like
Ghostbusters 2016.
Okay, that's the answer.
Around that time, I mean, it's been going
See
on
you
for
guys on the next episode. Of course,
it's been going on for longer than that, but that was when it was so blatantly like critics on YouTube who were not bought and paid for by studios hated the movie because they were if you're a fan of the original Ghostbusters, nobody in the world could like Ghostbusters 2016. But then all the critics are like stunning and brave.
Dude, I would love to talk about one day about the ratings of video games
We could do that.
because
You'd have to lead that one because
they just as an abstract, gaming companies send like us test copies of the games so that on the day of the release you can actually have the review
yeah.
and actually play the game. Most of the AAA titles come under the condition that it has to have a minimum score,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and websites like IGN
Oh god.
are like
Kotaku.
famous for giving any piece of beep.
Oof.
Sorry, giving any piece of I can say it right.
Yes.
Giving any piece of shit a 9 out of 10.
Yep.
Any piece of shit a 9 out of 10 because they paid for it.
Yep.
And that
They have to keep their access, and if they don't, then the studio's not going to send them the games anymore.
and it was kind of like one of these things where like where everyone always knew, but like no one talked about it. But it wasn't until like some like
Gamergate.
I thought it was like a Eurogamer magazine. They gave him a copy. I think it was like Kingdom Hearts something, whatever. I think it was the game. No, it was an Assassin's Creed game, and they were like, "Hi guys, sorry, the review is gonna be like a week late because these people told us that we had to give it a 9 if we were gonna review them, and like we weren't gonna do that. So
I bet you that gained them a lot of support. To be honest, like that.
it did and it didn't.
Wait, what do you mean by
Like
that?
it got support from like people like us who like want like an objective.
Well, that's what I mean. We're the support that matters.
That's what I say. But like a bunch of people is like, no, like a bunch of people of any fandom think they're an insider even though they're not.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people think like their fandom is like what got the Yankees the World Series like X number of times. And that's the same for the video game industry. So like some people saw that as like, dude, shut up. Like don't spoil the secrets because like this needs to sell 1 trillion games because it's my favorite franchise. Yada yada.
Yada.
Keep going.
That's it.
He's-
I'm looking.
checking.
Okay. Yeah. Look.
That's my point.
So I'm looking at the 39% audience score for season 1 and 100% for season 2, and that's why it averages out. There's something hinky there, my friend.
Was I watching season 2 then? Like, I don't know.
Season 2 just dropped like last week.
So there's 96 ratings from critics at a 39% for season 1. For season 2, there is only 7 ratings at 100%. So critics just aren't reviewing it yet if it just came out. But usually they would have had their review out before season 2 had even dropped.
Critics suck. That's why.
Basically, but the audience score remains relatively the same. 80% in season 2, and season 1 was what? It was like 90,
So you're telling me the lesson
75%.
So you're telling me the lesson is that you should just watch it yourself.
You-
Don't care about the reviews.
Or if you're going to use if you're going to look for a critical score, look for the people that aren't paid to give a good review, the people who aren't getting early access to this stuff. Your general audience score, now a lot of people don't like that because you'll have to wait to see what they say about it.
That's the problem.
But would you rather wait and get an accurate assessment of what the general consensus of the show is, or would you like early access and get a bought and paid for version of what the general consensus will be?
So shows, the problem. So the shows like it's like the best way to get an accurate review is honestly a like-minded friend and ask them.
Yep. Find somebody who like the most of the stuff that before we were doing this. Now I don't watch any reviews before we do stuff because I don't want to go in
Right.
with.
You're a professional movie watcher, I guess, but like
No, I mean, but we're not getting paid by like the studio. We're not connected to any studios or anything like that. But like I found like we did a few reviews early on here where I did watch reviews before we talked about it, and it colored how I spoke about the project. So now I don't like, I actually have to wait until we get everything made. I didn't watch any of the Uncharted reviews, anything revolving Death on the Nile or any of that until after we had put out all our stuff and then went to talk about it. So it's a little bit different. But beforehand, there was like maybe 3 or 4 reviewers who I trusted the opinions of, and then I would weigh based on their, their stuff. Jeremy Johns is probably the most reliable, in my opinion, on YouTube. Jeremy Johns, Chris Stuckman, though Chris Stuckman is, I tend to agree more with what Jeremy says than Stuckman. And then a lot of the YouTubers that I watch do their own reviews. Odin from OMB Reviews, a lot of those guys. So
unfortunately, like film and TV don't have the benefit that video game players have. Is like we have Twitch, and if a new game comes out, I can read reviews, or I can go on Twitch, watch someone play it, and look at the game actually as it's being played, and be like, that looks pretty cool.
Well, Twitch, if you have an Amazon Prime account, I think you can stream some of their Amazon exclusives on there. That's what.
Really?
Well, weren't you the one who said that Amazon
that was somebody else.
Oh, okay, never mind. That was somebody else. But yeah, like Amazon exclusive stuff, you can watch it on Twitch.
Interesting.
Yes.
But other streaming services, they'll get you.
Your opinion might be more valuable in this because you're a big fan of watching reviews and stuff like that. Now, do the reviews you watch come from people that I'm guessing a lot of them still get stuff for, like, you like Andre
Blackner comedy,
but he's connected to companies.
He's connected to Disney, so he mainly reviews like Disney stuff now. But he did do like a reaction review to the Sonic 2 trailer. He reacted to that, and then he reacted to the Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. But I watched that commercial before him. So for me, I like watching it, and I don't think their reviews cloud my opinion because I have to see it myself if I feel like I should watch it.
Has a brand ever been more devalued than Sonic?
I disagree with that. It used to be
a cool game, that was like a competitor to Mario, and now it's just like
they've expanded. I feel like he's better known for his comics now, and for what's going to be happening with the movies.
But who's reading comics?
Die-hard fan. Sonic, Power Rangers, all of those, like G.I. Joe, all have dedicated fan bases that drop money on it, but it's just not mainstream.
Sonic video games are like historically the buggiest games. Like, if you look at any speed run or like any super uber dork stuff, like it's always.
I still watch GoldenEye speedruns sometimes.
Really? Yeah. I gotta watch one with you. Yep. But like every time you watch something about Sonic or Let's Play or anything, like people are like leaving the bounds, floating, flying.
It happens.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's more. I think people care more about him in the movie franchise now. They're turning. Now that we're gonna get the Knuckles TV show after
Knuckles.
They're gonna do that, and then they're also doing Sonic 3. Got greenlit before 2 even comes out.
Damn.
So
I'm so excited.
I'm okay with it. They listen to the fans. Exactly.
Oh, that's
Turn
adorable.
It out. Thanks.
That's super adorable. But Dane, are you gonna watch Sonic 2 with us?
No.
Oh.
What? You're gonna come with us to see Sonic 2?
Not after you left me when I want to watch Uncharted.
Well, you can't watch it because you have to do your job.
Oh, I'm petty. I'm petty. Yeah, I'll watch it.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
That's what I thought.
But I gotta have at least an hour in between my job.
Well,
we'll try to go earlier.
Okay.
Do you want to do it on the weekend?
The movie?
What
Not if we're gonna get.
Oh wait, we have to get a first.
Well, we're not doing the next one. Isn't until we go to the Batman, which will be in not this weekend but next.
But
that I'm going 100%.
Yeah, because Tim wants to go.
I love
Batman. Of course you do.
Do that again. Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.
Bye.